let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off the 20-cent late pick 5 at Woodbine on Saturday with graded stakes action and an overflow field. Let's take a look at the field for the Grade 2 Nassau. We're going a one-turn mile on the spacious E.P. Taylor turf course. This race for fillies and mares, it is pretty wide open if you want to try to get past the Southern California Invader, the number 10, Jolie Olympica, who has run plenty of fast races in her career. Now, she's up here at Woodbine because she is a bleeder, and at Woodbine, she is allowed to take advantage of Lasix, and she's also the controlling speed.
She does look like the controlling speed here. I guess Dan, as far as stretching out goes, the one-turn mile up here probably works to her advantage as well. I guess she's the horse to beat, but it's not like she's, a terrifying horse to bet against.
Let's take a look at the Timeform U.S. pace projector. The 10, Jolie Olympic, expected to make the lead. Do you agree with Timeform U.S. in this, that this will be a blue bar scenario? Another Time has a little bit of speed, but Jolie Olympic has got SoCal speed.
Yeah, I mean, I did feel like the 10 would make the lead in here. How fast she has to go, I guess, remains to be seen. I just didn't really see anybody really pushing her in here, but we'll see.
Abby Hatcher, the number 1, showed a nice progression in her last start when she pulled off a $40 mutual in winning the Grade 3 Chicago, going 7/8 over the Arlington Poly track. Now, she's done good work on turf. I wonder, though, if that last race signals she might be better on the synthetic.
It might. She did run well last time to pull off that upset. Her race 2 back, though, on the turf, Dan, that wasn't a bad performance. It was a very short field. They went a crawling pace in front of her. With the winner wiring the field. I actually felt like she ran well 2 starts back to make it as close as she did. And before that, at the end of April at Churchill, she bumped into a pretty nice horse at Minted and didn't embarrass herself that day either. So, I mean, I feel like this filly could be a little bit underrated. And I feel like she's interested at a price.
Another Time, the number 2, is perhaps a bit of a price play as well. And she certainly has a chance based on that Timeform U.S. pace projector, based on the fact that she just missed in this race last year in her second start off a layoff after running in a 2-turn race at Woodbine. Well, similar pattern here. Here's her first start of 2021, 2-turn 7.5 over the inner turf at Woodbine. A little bit of a bobble coming out of the gate, was able to still get forward position, and she sprints on home showing no rust. I think she is an interesting alternative to the favorite.
Yeah, she's pretty good. I mean, basically all of her turf races are good, and she wins this race pretty easily. Got a nice trip in this race and won it very easily. Boy, I wish I liked her Nassau last year a little bit more than I like it, Dan. I just didn't really see her excuse that day. She got control of that pace. They weren't going that fast. She had the lead all through the stretch. I just didn't see her excuse to get beat last year.
Tappity, the number 3, Patrick Husband's Mark Cassie. She's won second off the layoff in the past, and she's going to try it here in her second start of 2021 after this effort. A good second in an optional claiming race. Didn't seem like there was a lot of pace on it all. 50-3 for the half, 115 for the 3/4, and Tappity has got some work to do in the stretch. You see, Patrick's kind of looking for some room here. Now he's going to find it, and she's going to come with a kick.
Yeah, she runs fine in this race. Just kept coming right down to the wire in here. A pretty game performance going between horses late. She runs fine in here, Dan. We'll see if she gets the right setup. It feels like she is the kind of filly who wants a little pace to run at.
Saratoga Vision is a stakes place sprinter, third in the Catch a Glimpse over Yielding Going a couple of years ago. That being said, she's 1 for 18 lifetime, and she needs a buyer boost.
Yeah, just really hard to make a case for in here. It's not the strongest field in the world, but it's probably too tough for her.
Abscond returns to Woodbine for the first time since her signature victory, that being in the Grade 1 Natalma, going the 1-turn mile back in 2019. She's run some good races since. She's yet to reach the winner's circle since, but she was in way too tough in the Just a Game last time out. 2 back in the Distaff Turf Mile. She got a really nice trip by Rosario, kind of just dropped in behind the pace setter that blew off to an easy early lead and was only beaten less than a length. I think on her best race, she's right there.
I agree. She's a nice fit in this race. The Just a Game, when you go back to watch that, I mean, I'm not sure what the plan was in there. They just took her back in that race. They didn't even really try to make any kind of a run. I'm not even sure why they entered that race the way that they rode her. I don't really have anything to say, Dan. It's all right there on paper. You love this horse. I should just let you talk about it.
First time turf. I still will. First time turf for the 6 hour secret agent who's going to try to stretch out to a mile and run on turf for the first time. Last time out in the whimsical race we're going to watch right now, she ran pretty well. She is last turning into the stretch. She is in behind horses. She's going to have to maneuver her way all the way to the outside. And once she is clear, she is going to come with a pretty strong kick. And this is a good field, Mike. I mean, I think Amalfi Coast is okay. I think Boardroom is okay. But it's still a big ask, surface and distance wise.
Agreed. This is a good field, and she runs well in this race. It does feel like she keeps improving, so those are all good signs for this filly. I don't know about turf for her, Dan. I didn't see a huge turf pedigree, and now she's got to go the mile, too. I guess that could be a little bit of a concern.
And I'm not sure I love turf for the 7 Crystal Glacier as well. I just think she's much better on synth. Let's go back to the grade 3 Trillium, her most recent start where she was the beaten favorite. She ran just fine. She's down towards the inside here. Super Escape, the leader, is going to end up winning this race. Crystal Glacier is eventually going to get out, and she's just going to miss by a nose. Her turf races are okay. I know you like that Hendy Woods, the horse that beat her 2 starts back, but she was 50-1 in that race, and she's still yet to hit the board from 4 turf outings.
Yeah, I feel the same way about her. She's pretty good. She ran fine last time. I don't know if she's as good on turf as she is on synthetic, so that's a concern, but she is 8-1 on the morning line.
Sunset Kiss is a horse who began her career overseas, but her only victory came over the all-weather at Wolverhampton, first time off of a long layoff. Her 3 races for Roger Attfield just don't really do it for me. I do respect the work Kent Sweezy does, but it's not like Sweezy's taking this horse off some nobody.
I agreed. It's an interesting trainer change here. I don't know. To me, she was hard to like in this race. When I watched her her debut over here, her stateside debut, I felt like maybe they were just prepping in that race. They didn't really ask her for a lot after she studied at the start, and I thought maybe they were giving her a race and she would do better after that. I don't like her 2 races since.
Honey Cake is the X factor in this race. This is going to be her first start in North America, her first start off a long layoff, but she winds up in a very strong barn. Jonathan Thomas does very, very good work, especially off layoffs, and this filly showed speed overseas. Is it the kind of speed that can put her in close attendance to a horse like Jolie Olympica, or is it your typical Euro speed where they're going trotting horse fractions and she'll have to make up ground here?
That's a very good question. Going back to her most recent race where she won that stake in November, it didn't feel like trotting horse speed. It was a big field. It says in the short comment, straight to lead. But when you watch the race, it was a bit of a scramble. There were a few horses trying to make the front in there. This filly's the one who emerged on the lead. And I thought she went all in all a pretty solid pace in there. It was heavy ground. There were a lot of very tired horses late in that race, but she did a lot of work on the front end.
Jolie Olympica is a Group 1 winner at a mile in her native Brazil, but she's 0 for 2 routing in North America. Now, she kept very good company in both of those races. Let's go back to her most recent start. They ran her against the boys in the Grade 3 San Simeon sprinting. She was involved in a pace dispute with the number 5 Sistron. She'll eventually get the better of Sistron, but she just isn't able to stick with a horse like Gregorian Chant, who's in raging form at the time. Maybe Jolie Olympica bled in this race. That's why she's at Woodbine. She's the controlling speed. She has the back figs. At 5-2, you could argue that's a fair price. She might end up a lot shorter at post time.
Yeah, I wonder if she will go shorter. It seems like she's going to go shorter in this race. Not that maybe she doesn't deserve it. I mean, she's got a couple of figures that stand out in this field. If she runs one of those races, she'll probably win. But it's not like there aren't, questions that have to be answered about a horse who's going to be a very short price.
Royal Wedding was no match for Crystal Glacier last time out, but let's give her the benefit of the doubt. First start since Halloween 2020, and on a synthetic surface that I don't think she prefers. I think she prefers turf. I'm just not sure she's a graded stakes horse.
Yeah, I just think it's a tough spot for her. I agree with you. This is a better surface for her. I do think she's, since her this latest trainer here switched her over to grass, I think she's really improved, but this is a tough spot.
I'm Merville Yu's biggest fan, and I liked how she won the Ontario Damsel to finish off a very successful 3-year-old campaign for Kevin Attard. Maybe she just needed that seasonal debut, Mike, in the Trillium.
I think she did, Dan. I didn't, I felt like early on in that race, she had trouble getting the spot that she wanted, and I don't think she ever really got into a very comfortable spot in that race. She was in contention to the top of the stretch and got a little bit tired, which I think could be perfect for a horse who was returning from a layoff there. And in a lot of ways, you're right. Her Ontario Damsel was really good. In a lot of ways, I think the only turf race that she ran last year is the best race that she's run. She got a great trip in that Wonderwear, but she really ran that day.
Really interesting horse at 15-1, going second off the layoff. Plenty of angles. What a race. The Grade 2 Nassau Stakes. Let's take a look at our top picks. Jolie Olympica, the one to catch and beat. Let's beat her. You know I'm Upscon's biggest fan. And again, last time I thought it was odd that they didn't try to at least get forward in the Just a Game. On paper, It looked like a race where they could stay close, and maybe she wouldn't be good enough. I was stunned that she was just taken back. A couple of her other races, especially with Lasix, I think puts her in the mix, and she hasn't raced with Lasix in a long time. You're going with Merville, you're getting great value.
Yeah, she's a great price on the line. I think she ran fine off the layoff last time. I don't mind her going the shorter distance either. And I just wondered, Dan, she's good on synth. I wonder if she's not every bit as good on turf.
12-10-9-2 for Mike, the Woolworth special for me, 5-10-6-1 in the Grade 2 Nassau, kicking off the 20-cent pick 5 at Woodbine on Saturday. Good luck.